Good morning, and welcome to another Saturday Somm-Things with Mott's. Hi, I'm Mott's, and I brought back one of my favorite guests, Allyson with Maverick Wine Company, and today we're going to be discussing these beautiful sparklers and champagnes from around the world. But before I get into that, today is August 6th, a very special day. It's National Root Beer Float Day and National Mustard Day, and I brought Allyson a present. Stone Ground Mustard award-winning medal from Napa Valley
Thank
to
you,
celebrate
Russ.
our tasting of these wonderful Saturday sparklers. So without anything more, let's start with the champagne from France.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much, Mott's, for both the mustard and having me again.
Okay.
Champagne. So a lot of people will use champagne and sparkling wine interchangeably. And the important thing to know about that is they're all good, but champagne is a place, sparkling wine is a category of wine, and it encompasses how it's made. So when we talk about champagne, it has to come from a very, very specific part of France. This is from Aubry, so this is grower champagne. One of the benefits of grower champagne is that, you know, with a lot of the larger houses, a portion of their budget is spent on marketing. So an increase in price doesn't always translate to an increase in quality. And you know, everybody likes what they like, and that's fine, but these smaller producers are a little bit more focused on the terroir of champagne as opposed to a house style. So it just depends on what you're after. Aubry is really cool in that they have started to revive some of the indigenous champagne varietals, such as Pinot Blanc. Most typically you see Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier as the primary varietals that go into champagne. And that's just like a nice little touch.
I love the nose on this to begin with. It's very toasty and yeasty. It has a lot of brioche and sticky buns.
And there's that really characteristic walnut and like creamy quality you get
Sure.
with the Pinot Meunier. Chardonnay is it has that toasty yeasty
Right.
element. Pinot Noir gets a little bit fruitier. Pinot Meunier gets a little bit more umami and savory.
I like the green apple as well, and you can tell that it's been aged on the lees because it's just elegant.
Yeah.
Which takes us to an intriguing number 2. I've never had this before because it's from England.
So England actually has a lot to do with the development of wine in Europe, with bubbles specifically. The English figured out what was causing wine bottles to explode in Champagne back in the 1600s, and they developed the technique that allowed the glass to withstand whenever you make method champenoise, which is the style, and we'll get into that in a second, of bubbles that we have here today. You end up with between 5 and 7 atmospheres of pressure. In lay terms, that's 5 to 7 times the amount of pressure that you get at sea level. So that's why you can savor a bottle of champagne.
And it's almost 10 times the pressure that your car tires have. And this is unique. It's crisp, it's dry, it's dynamic, it's savory. I love this. I'm very impressed.
One of the reasons that you get a lot of a lot of champagne drinkers will absolutely love English bubbles, and don't say British bubbles because that is more of a reference to two-buck chuck in England.
Okay.
Right, so it's English bubbles. But the soil type is the same. So a very long time ago, the British Isles were connected to mainland continental Europe. During the Fourth Ice Age, things melted, things overflowed, and there was a huge outpouring of water that separated England and France via what we now know today as the English Channel. And, now they're not connected, but southern England's just a tad warmer than Champagne. It has slightly better weather, not the same amount of hail.
I'm definitely connected with this because it is beautiful. You get like you said, walnuts and hazelnuts, lychee nuts.
Mhm.
It's still very lively and focused in your mouth, and you could easily pair this with the usuals: fried chicken,
Fried chicken,
popcorn, ceviche.
oysters,
Oh yes, perfect.
and chocolate.
Yes, yes. Which brings us to one of my personal favorites from Spain. I told you we're going around the world. From
Mhm.
Spain, they changed the label, but the bubbles are the same.
Yes. So cava is one of the few legal protected designations that doesn't specifically refer to a place in France. So like Bordeaux, it's a place. Champagne, it's a place. Rioja, it's a place. Cava, it's named after the caves that the wine was aged in. So most of it is centered around Catalonia. However, roughly 90%, but it can be grown anywhere in Spain as long as it follows specific rules. The main grapes are going to be Chirilo, Parellada, and Macabeo, and all of which add different characters and different benefits to the chemical structure of the wine.
I love this because you'll notice on the label it says Brut Nature, or Brut Nature. That means that there's 0 dosage, no sugar, it's bone dry. And I think the more you drink champagne, the more you appreciate a bone dry
Mhm.
style, because it's crisp, it's definitive, it is just so thirst quenching that you want more.
Exactly. And when you're making mimosas and you're brunching and all that, it's really tempting to just go big or go home and go for the champagne, and you don't need to. Again, we're talking about the difference in cost. You look at Spain, and it's a much more friendly climate to grow grapes in.
Right.
It also is, I want to say, the 5th by volume, top 5 by
Sure.
volume of production of grapes in the world. So it's super easy to grow the grapes there. Champagne, the weather is trash. It's absolutely cold. They get frost, they get hail. It's so difficult to grow grapes there that is part of the expense. The cost of doing business is a little bit more. So it's not a difference in quality so much as it is a difference in economics.
Right. And this is always under $20. Miss Sheila, as you know, will put these on sale, and it's such a bargain because all of these, whether they're champagne or cava, come down to bubbles. And bubbles were meant to be savored and drank, not just for a Super Bowl win or New Year's Eve. It's a beverage. Beverages need to be drank all the time. I had a dinner party last night. We started with champagne because it gets people in the mood. It's festive, it's lively, it's tasty.
Always a great way to start an event. I really enjoy it with sushi. Just the acid in it with the fish, it just is so clean and bright. Try it next time when you get sushi takeout.
Which leads us to our last bottle, this beautiful, very inexpensive, very tasty rosé.
So Riva Rose is a Grenache Syrah blend from Provence, under 20 on the shelf, which you don't always see from Provence rosés that are still, so you
Right.
get the bubbles for free. Very delicious. It's just,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to overcomplicate it. It's stupid good.
Yeah. You get strawberries, hibiscus, a little pomegranate, but the depth is there, and it's still dry. It's still crisp, and it's right next to Saint-Tropez. I love this. I mean, I don't want to drone on, but these are 4 amazing, amazing bottles of bubbles, and I'm so glad that you came back because it's still summer. Yesterday we broke a record, 101 degrees, and these would be perfect. You don't need food, you just need a good friend or 2 or 3, some fried chicken, and you need to come down to Argonaut.
Yes.
Because Allyson is here often, I'm always here, and we can introduce you to these favorite bubbles of both of ours, and you'll be incredibly happy.
Well, in my understanding, Mats, is bubbles are on sale this next week.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So once again, Allyson, thank you so much. I appreciate you returning. It's always a pleasure. happy mustard day and root beer float day, and everybody keep watching and liking and listening. Come down and get your bubbles on because you deserve it. So cheers, Allison. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Mats.